Good evening and welcome to the Melissa Cardinals Network, another season of the Cardinals Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham with Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. Coach, it is time for football season.
Isn't that crazy? You know, it just seems like we just ended, and I can't believe it. Honestly, I'm speechless that we're to this point already. So
And we're back here at the Dugout.
yeah, yes. So and what an awesome, just overall environment, to be in. So, but yeah, football season's upon us again, and it just teaches you, to don't take time for granted because, it flies.
So, got lots of questions for you. Let's talk about heat, first
Yes.
of all.
Yes.
Because there's some big news this week about heat, but talk about in general, safety. This is not when you and I played back in the last century when
Right.
And my dad would say when he played, it was even more than that, of course.
Right.
This is a new world. It's safety, it's hydration, it's nutrition. How are you and the team dealing with heat?
Well, first off, our UIL is amazing. So they come up with their own protocols and whatnot that we have to do in the regards for heat. Now, once again, the community of Melissa and administration and whatnot have given us a great facility with that indoor and the fans that are in there and all those things that you get a piece of the heat, but you don't get all the heat. There's a lot of people that I know that have to practice in gyms. They have to practice at night. They have to practice really early in the morning.
Have I told you about Richardson High School practice?
No.
The practice field, of course, this was grass. The practice field was behind the stadium, kind of like you have behind your indoor. And the light stands for the stadium cast a shadow that was one straight line.
Yeah.
So every water break, you'd stand single
Yes.
file line in the shadow.
Yes. And you know what? It's back in our day, you'd have the PVC pipe,
Yeah.
or you might get lucky and they might have like a cooler with some towels in there that you could wring off. For some cool water, but there's regulations that we have to do. Now I adopted a brand new practice schedule this year that I got from Alito, and I just the way that I've always learned, especially what we do offensively, is we really didn't have breaks. It was more just, hey, we're going to go, and then if you needed a break, you take a break. I'm glad that I adopted this new practice schedule.
That's the new one or the old one?
That's the old one.
Okay.
I'm glad that I adopted this new practice schedule. And then I'm glad that UIL came out with their protocols and whatnot to really, not just me, but all coaches, to take care of kids and to take care of coaches. I mean, there's been a time before as a coach, my first year as a head coach actually, I had a guy that had diabetes, and I didn't do a very good job of giving coaches breaks during that time, and he fell out and whatnot. It was a scary moment. So, but I think the UIL and the way that we've structured practice with that new layout has really helped us with the heat, but also has helped us to get used to because everything now within our practice is it's constant movement, but you get enough time to stop, polish. With your coach, and you have an opportunity to discuss some things rather than in the past it's been just go, and then we'll coach it on film. Well, rather now you can fix it in practice and coach it on film as well. But the kids, we have water breaks built in. We call them transition periods, but they have about a minute to 2 minutes so if we have a period of, give you an example here. So if we have a PAT period, right after that PAT period is a water break, and then we go to Indy. Right after that, it's a water break.
Individual drills, individual positions, yes.
And then after each period, we have a water break, and that is the practice schedule that I adopted from Alito. But also, it just helped out so much with the heat and the things that are going on right now with it. So, but also, I think it allows kids to give full energy. They get their intensity up, and then they get to come back down, and then intensity up and get to come back down. So I think that's good too, just for the game, because that's the way the game is played. And once again, I go back to the UIL, just protecting kids and protecting coaches. They did a really good job this summer.
Well, there is some big news this week. If you are planning to join us in the brand new Coach Kenny Deal Stadium on Friday night against Argyle, it is now an 8 p.m. kickoff.
Right.
8 p.m., not 7:30. 8 p.m. kickoff, delayed 30 minutes in order to hopefully let the temperatures come down a little bit. So talk about why the change, how did that happen, how did that come about, how did the discussion go on?
So the first thing about Coach Kenny Deal Stadium is when the shade comes, oh man, it's great. It's perfect. It feels so great on the playing surface. And then with what Coach Sparks and them decided to do with the turf, and it's cooler. It's not like the old turf where they had the black rubber dots in it, and it would be so scorching hot. So that is a benefit. The way it came about was Coach Rogers. We always, when you're about to play, you have a conversation on a Saturday and you have another conversation on a Sunday, and you start to just dial stuff in and whatnot and kind of come together and discuss certain things and decide certain things and whatnot. And then yesterday in our conversations, we were talking about the heat. And some other schools had done it. And in the Anna scrimmage, I felt like it was okay. But at the end of the day, I don't want any kid or coach, or really, anyone in the stadium to get overheated or whatever the case may be. So Coach Rogers and myself just decided, hey, it's probably best. Let's just move it back 30 minutes. Even if it drops 1 degree, that's going to be beneficial for the kids. So that's kind of where it came from, or that is where it came from, but that's kind of the conversations that we had going into it and made that determination.
So this Friday, kickoff, season opener, 8 p.m., Argyle Eagles at Coach Kenny Deal Stadium. You every year come here and tell us about a new set of coaches tell us who the 2023 coaching staff.
I've been really fortunate. I haven't lost that many coaches over the 5 years that I've been here as the head coach. This year, I lost one coach, and he went back to his hometown in Waco, and then because we're just growing so fast, that the admin allowed me to hire a couple more coaches. So I got a great coach from McKinney Boyd. His name is Tyler Scoggin. He coaches our tight ends. I got a coach from Ranch View. He helps coach our outside linebackers. His name is Scott Howard. I got a coach from Lovejoy, who is a kicking coach. Just that's all he does is coach the kickers. And then I have a coach that we got from Idaho. So his name is Cody Dixon. So those are the 4 additions that we got on the football staff. And like I said, 1 was an addition, 3 were people that admin gave us. So pretty sweet, and they're very awesome additions to Melissa ISD.
Okay, this is your 5th season as the head football coach of the Cardinals, and this is the part of the show where I say really interesting things and you say, who cares? That's just how this works. Yeah. Okay, your all-time record at Melissa as the head football coach is?
I don't know. I would say, I know since I've been here, or let me rephrase that. Before I got here, Melissa won a lot of football games. Since I've been here, we've won a lot of football games. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know where to guess.
42-12.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's 78%.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Previous 3 years at Frankston, not quite as good.
No.
Under 50%.
Yeah. My Frankston days, I wasn't a very good coach. I'm just going to be honest with you.
We appreciate it as the Cardinals for them, squaring you away.
Yeah. I wasn't a very good coach. I still called the plays then, and I was more the OC then too. We scored a bunch of points, but I just didn't do a very good job when I was there. I learned a lot of things, and as I was about to leave, I kind of felt like I was turning a corner. But the best thing that ever happened to me was to come to Melissa, to sit under Seth for those years, and really get to
Seth Denton, the athletic director now, yes.
To go and learn from other people and as well as Seth. So I think that's really helped me while I've been here. But, I've had unbelievable coaches since I've been here and unbelievable players. So a lot of people, they'll come to Melissa and, they want to talk football and culture and things like that. And, we had a guy from Michigan. We had a guy from Mexico. we've had them all over the state of Texas come to Melissa. And at the end of the day, I mean, I tell them, hey, we'll tell you whatever you want to know, but we have really good coaches and really good players. So
it helps to have good players in order to be a good coach.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So just so you'll know, because Mrs. Nally might be watching, your all-time head coaching record is 54-31.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So you know. All right.
That's not too bad.
Now, speaking of points, your offense last year scored 608 points, which was a school record.
That hurts. You know why?
Because you weren't the OC.
I wasn't the OC.
Yeah, because the previous record of 605 points, you were the OC.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
608 points last year.
That's
you
awesome.
went 11-3,
awesome.
7-0 district champs. You did have an 11-game winning streak, which is second all-time to the school record of 12 wins in a row.
Yes, sir.
And this one, I won't even ask you because you don't know. The Melissa High School all-time record in football.
Oh, I have no idea.
163, 74, and 1.
Oh, wow.
So that's 68% winning
that's
percentage.
pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's
Pretty good. All right, let's go back to some more modern day stuff. How was the Anna scrimmage? How was it beneficial to you guys?
With that, it allows you to see certain players and certain schemes and things like that and how they develop. We were extremely vanilla on defense. We were extremely vanilla on offense. We didn't do anything special teams-wise to show really anything. But it made me feel really good because we ran our base defense and we were successful. And I'll just say this because it's the truth, is I've never done this before in my coaching career, but I did not allow my offense or my defense to plan for Anna. Normally you plan like it's a regular week. I didn't let them do that. I wanted to see if our base rules, it doesn't matter. Like if we might play a team that's an odd front and, they have a too high roof on the top of their defense, well, who's to say they're not going to do that? You don't know what they're going to come out in. So I was like, nope, there's zero planning for Anna. I want to see our base rules apply to what they're doing. And I was very, very impressed with our defense and the way that we played, and not just with our ones, with our twos and with our threes. And I don't know if you noticed, but they kept their ones in most of the game. So I was very, very impressed with the way our offensive or our defensive kiddos played and whatnot. Offensively with our ones, I thought we were effective. There's some things in the run game that we needed to clean up, which we did. But once again, I'm going to throw me under the bus because I did not allow the offensive staff to scheme them. But I thought we threw the ball very well. I thought we caught the ball very well. I thought our pass protection was pretty good. And then we were a little overwhelmed when they left their ones in and we were playing with our twos, just because of the fact that, our twos weren't ready for all that stunting and blitz and stuff that they did. And but overall, I was impressed. We need to fix some things in the kicking game. But overall, very impressed because Anna has a good football team. That is a good football team.
They did go 13-1 a year ago.
They did, and
best season for the Coyotes ever.
And that's a good football team. And I feel like if we had played them in a real game, no offense to them, right now, I thought we would have been about 4 or 5 touchdowns better than what they were on Friday night. So, like I said, no offense to them. It might change, throughout the season, but I thought we were better than they were on Friday night.
You are watching the Cardinal Scoreboard show here at the Dugout. You can hear the crowd here. You're invited to join us every Monday evening at 5:30 p.m. We're going to talk more with Matt Nally after this, but in just a moment, we're going to invite a very special guest, and we'll talk more with Matt Nally after this. Don't forget to worship with us in our church home. Go to firstmelissa.com to find out more. Join us on Sunday mornings. We'll come back with the Cardinal Scoreboard show and a special guest right after this. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard show at the Dugout. We promised you the VIP guest tonight, the very important special guest tonight, and here he is, the man himself, Coach Kenny Deal. Coach, you haven't been here on the show very much, but it's great to be back at the dugout.
Yes, sir. That just means football season's starting, Trey. So that's thank you for having me here on the kickoff of the season. I appreciate it.
Well, it's not only the kickoff to the season, it's the kickoff to something else, this brand new stadium. You've only told this story about 50 times this week, but most people haven't heard it, and that is, when did you become aware, how did you find out that you had received the honor of having the stadium named after you?
Trey, it was at convocation. Convocation is the beginning of the school year for our staff, and where we come together and we get motivated for that upcoming school year, and so that was 12 years ago. I had just finished my 25th year of serving the district, and they announced it during that meeting that the future stadium would carry my name.
And there's a little backstory. You weren't told in advance?
No,
it was a surprise? Tell that part.
No, and then what we started doing was I was cooking hamburgers for the staff, so we would cook, and then my
now this is
maintenance
at
team,
the current middle school cafeteria.
Middle school, the original high school building. So that we're out in front, underneath our awning, and we're flipping burgers with a couple of grills, and ladies in back, they're doing all the trimmings, and that's what we did to prepare. Probably at that time, maybe 250, 300 employees
and
at
now
that,
it's
at that time.
almost 1,000.
Pushing that way, yes,
right.
sir. And so doing that, and then and you came walking by, which was kind of unique. And then I thought, oh, it's Trey. Hey, Trey. And then there towards the very end, Lauren walked by, my wife, and then I stepped in and asked, what are you doing here? And she goes, well, George invited me for lunch. And again, that wasn't totally, out of character. Either for you to be there, I thought you might be praying for the upcoming school year, and then got inside there, and then I kind of saw something over to the side covered up, and I thought, oh, maybe something's fixing to happen since Lauren and you were there, and then that did. I was totally surprised.
And former Superintendent Jason Smith was there to make the announcement.
Correct.
And that was 11 years ago.
Yes, sir.
And did you ever think it was actually going to get built?
Well, you knew it would happen. You definitely knew that we were going to outgrow the current stadium, and then that's one thing I hear a lot of, out and about and around, is that, why are we building this stadium now? That we had a very, very nice 2A stadium when that was built, and we added on to it, to get us through all the way through 4A, and then 1 year of 5A ball, to where it's just too crowded. And to make any more additions, we just didn't have the space for additional parking, because you have to have parking along
right.
with seats. And it was time, and it's really great to have the stadium on the 80 acres on the home high school campus as well.
So talk about these last 11 years. What was the design process? How's the construction process? Because not only are you the guy that they named it after, you're the guy who has to oversee the construction of it.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
how's
sir.
that
so
process going?
Really starting about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, Mr. Murphy, said it was time for us to really start investigating and time to possibly pull the trigger on building the stadium. And so yes, and we first kind of went out to West Texas to look at some fields, and with our architect, who is based out of there. And then, so if you kind of see our fourth floor, that's where it came from Lubbock ISD. And so then that design process started. We spent multiple trips to Prosper ISD, to their stadium, on how that was designed, and they did a tremendous job, their athletic department, in talking to us. And then so really, the main players was athletic director Coach Seth Stinton and Duke Sparks, and then myself in designing that, and then how truly how neat and cool was that from the get-go, from step one, to be able to plan this out, and just feel truly honored and blessed to be part of that process.
So how has this whole experience been? There's been a lot of different parties. There's been news stories. There's tweets all about you. You're the most famous guy right now, and Melissa. So what's this experience
let's
been
start
like?
first with, I can truly do without the news stories.
Okay.
I can totally truly do without that. The party part has been that's just been truly awesome, to where Tuesday night you were there, and just a tremendous amount of former students and athletes there that night, Trey, and just truly felt loved that night, and just blessed, thankful for the school district for putting that on. So this process from actually since we broke ground is just truly thankful, and I'm just so excited for our community and our students now, our future students. So you have two over there that's a possibility that will grow up and have the opportunity to step on that field in some capacity, and just for all of our kids, whether they're athletes, whether they're band kids, or whether they're soccer kids, that's going to have the opportunity to be on there. And so just a lot of joy in my heart that so many people is going to be able to use this facility.
So here we are on Monday night at the dugout. We're looking forward to Friday night's game, the season opener against Argyle. What are you looking forward to this Friday?
Just getting this started and seeing and hoping everything goes smoothly, Trey, that the water works, the air works, the toilets will flush. That's kind of the first part, because you never stop working, and but to really at some point sit down and truly enjoy two of the top programs in the state of Texas. That's in Melissa, Texas, and playing really in a first class facility that just to sit back and enjoy it.
We call this Coach Kenny Deal Stadium because you're one of those old retired coaches, and we'll bring back Matt Nally here in a few minutes, but I'm going to let you take a minute and brag on Matt Nally.
Oh, just what a tremendous job Matt has done in his time here, and just Matt seems to be a very detailed coach where everything is planned out, and then and through that execution, and then he doesn't do anything by accident. It's all planned out, and so the kids are comfortable in that system, and just how he operates through that, to where everything has a purpose. Starting in this past scrimmage, until hopefully week 16, at the end of the year. And just what a tremendous asset him and Julie and his kids are for this district.
You do know we're sitting right.
I see that. Yes.
By
yes,
this poster over
yes.
here. So the last question for you is, you have a little bit of an announcement to make. Some people already know, but once you become the big shot with a stadium named after you, you're retiring from the broadcasting booth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with a 10,000 seat stadium, a lot of more responsibilities come upon me, Trey, and then I wanted the freedom to be able to handle issues and be able to leave, and just, as you know from the past, where I'd have somebody stuck in the elevator, and I'd have to take these off
Right.
and run outside.
Right.
And I just think the opportunity is greater, in this stadium here. So I will miss it, and I wish you and Ross the best of luck, and y'all have a great season. And again, before, was that the last question?
It is, yes,
All right,
sir.
if I can say real fast,
Sure.
that the district is truly blessed in this stadium here, along with how everything was planned and developed on the 80 acres. It just fits right in with our fine arts department and the new 4-story high school. Just what a beautiful overall campus we have for our students.
And you've been a part of that. So well done.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Our special guest, the Coach Kenny Deal, the namesake of the stadium, an old retired coach, and the man who is being honored this week with a brand new stadium. Coach, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be right back to talk more with Matt Nally right after this. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham with Coach Matt Nally at the dugout. Here we meet every Monday night at 5:30 p.m. You're invited to be a part of this. Make sure you follow the Melissa Cardinals Network on Facebook as well. And Coach Nally, you just heard from Coach Deal, the VVIP. I mean, the guy gets a poster and everything.
Yeah.
So pretty cool new stadium you got.
Yeah, when it was being constructed, it was almost surreal, and then now it's done. You're just taken back. I made a comment the other day. I only care about the back of the goal line to the back of the goal line. That's all I care about.
Is that why I gave the stadium tour the other day instead of you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But, when you're in there, you kind of almost feel unworthy, and you kind of almost feel like, I don't know, it's odd. Like, I cannot believe I'm here. Like, I can go back to E.G. Scarborough Stadium, to Jeff and Ope at Alston Stadium, to Cardinals. Cardinal Stadium is the best home stadium I've ever been a part of. And now you're here, and you kind of have this, it was so cool that all these recruiters came in last summer or last spring, and they were just in awe. And it used to be they were in awe of the indoor and the weight room and things like that. And now it's just, it is. I heard Duke say it was the crown jewel, and there's no doubt about it. It is the crown jewel. But the thing that I liked about it the most, too, was our kids highly enjoyed it, but I think Anna kids highly enjoyed being there, too. So I think that's what's probably the coolest thing for me is you get both sides of the kids kind of just like, wow, we get to play here.
Pretty cool place to go to work every Friday.
No doubt.
Yes.
And I used to use it as therapy. I would walk out there and just sit and look. I got a little corner. I just stand and just lean up against the deal and just, so it's good times.
We mentioned earlier that the kickoff for the Argyle game this Friday is at 8 p.m. Schedule change, delayed it just a bit for some heat. And so hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler at 8 p.m. this Friday when the kickoff comes. Again, one of these things where I say something and you say, who cares? The all-time series record versus Argyle is?
I'm going to say 1 in a lot.
1 in 5.
1 in 5.
That's correct. Last season, Argyle defeated you guys 37-18 in the season opener.
Yes, sir.
2 years ago, it was the 21-0 shutout.
Yes, sir.
To stop all of their streaks, the winning streak, the scoring streak, and all those things, district games, all that. So 1 in 5 all time against Argyle. We'll talk about Coach Rogers and the Eagles in a moment. However, depending on who you ask and whose ranking you look at, one of the most prominent ones, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, has the Melissa Cardinals ranked number 1 in the state of Texas, Class 5A Division II. What is it like to be ranked preseason number 1?
First off, what an honor. I don't care what anyone says about, you shouldn't think about rankings and whatnot, and I'm about to say that. But because you know how coaches are, we talk about it before it even came out. We're like, where do you think we would lie? So, SOC won it. They've got to be number 1. And then after that, you kind of try to figure it out. So we thought we would be ranked number 5. And when it came out ranked number 1, and then you kind of start to, they have all these, this is what I just learned. It's not, they're not guessing. So they have all these algorithms and things like this and whatnot, and you throw out all these percentages and things. So we had the best opportunity to win the state championship.
It's computerized.
Yes. So that came out. So I felt honored and whatnot in the regards to be number 1. Now, to be number 1, there has been a ton of teams out there that have not been ranked number 1, not been ranked in the top 5, top 10, or top 15, and they've won the state championship. So, to win it, Coach Stenton has won it, and there's some other people, and they all give the same advice. The first and foremost is a little luck, and you got to stay healthy is number 2. So, that's the biggest thing for us is we're going to have a little bit of luck, but also we're going to have to stay healthy to keep it going. Now, in my personal opinion, and I'm biased, but whatever happens from here until early November, it is what it is. I firmly believe that we'll be 10-0, but once again, I'm biased. But when it comes late December, I think that we'll be in the running for the state championship and in that conversation.
Something we've talked about for a lot of years is you do not believe in the cupcake theory of scheduling.
Correct, yes, sir.
For example, you are facing one of the best teams in the state.
Yes, sir.
As your opener with the
sir.
Argyle Eagles. So we'll talk about Argyle after that question. But this question is, you believe in a strong non-district schedule.
Right.
Why?
Just because of the fact of you get to really see what type of team that you have early on. But early on, you get to talk about adversity. You get to talk about things that, there's going to be a stretch of games there that we might not get to talk about those things, and our kids might get to only play a half or maybe just into the third quarter.
Just so everybody understands, your district has some really strong teams and maybe some not so strong teams. So in that district schedule is what you're talking about.
Correct. So I really want to play teams early so we can fight through adversity, and I think that has helped us in the past. Start 0-2 and then win an 11. Start 0-2 and then win an 11. I really think it's helped us because of adversity. So with Argyle on Friday night, they're the number 3 team in the state, and then China Springs the next week is the number 1 team in the state.
Defending state champions.
And then the next week it's a playoff, 2-round playoff 6A team in Roy City. So we're going to have adversity, and I want to see how the kids can react, because at the end of the day, and I say react, how they respond to it. So we've had great response in the past. That's why I believe that when you're uncomfortable, leaders are grown, and that's what's really helped us, I believe, in the past to really take the next step, especially, in the playoffs. 2 years ago, I really felt like we should have won state. Well, the last year we were 481, but we had lost 7 kids going into that game against Stephenville. But I think because of all the adversity that we had early on in the year, it really helped us when we got to that game to still, have a shot to win that game. And then last year, being the first year in 5A, playing some great competition, and that adversity that we had early on really helped us, I felt like, down the stretch.
You've called Coach Rogers, the Argyle head coach, you've called him a mentor.
Yes, sir.
Talk about him.
He's kind of like, for me, he's kind of like, I'd use like a Dr. Phil a little bit, kind of like tough love, kind of like get over it, you know what I'm saying? So, but he has really, really helped me in the past. Like, I've been going to him. I looked at some notes I took in 2013 that I went and visited with Argyle the other day. So I've been going to him for at least 10 years. I would say a little bit longer, but for at least 10 years talking to him. When I couldn't figure out how to beat Salina, I went to Argyle, and they gave me the formula how to do that. So I've been going for a while. He's, like I said, it's more of a tough love situation with him and me. But he always steers me in the right direction. He always gives me the best advice. So at the end of the day, I cherish that relationship that we have.
But you want to beat him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He understands that. Like, we have kind of this thing, like, we're going to help each other out until 7:30 or 8 o'clock on a Friday night. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll help each other out again. So, but, yeah, he's been a big part of my coaching life.
Now you got to go play them.
Right.
So tell us about the Argyle Eagles this Friday.
So, once again, the thing is it doesn't matter what Argyle throws out there. They're going to be extremely well coached, and they're going to be a tough physical group of kids. So watching them play Denison, they're young. They have a young team. They graduated a lot of kids. But that young team that they had, or that JV and freshman group they had, were very talented last year, and those kids got a lot of playing time, and they got to develop. So, they'll probably make some young kid mistakes early on, but they're still going to be, at the end of the day, it's 1-5, so they still have our number. So if I'm an Argyle Eagle, I'm not really worried about a Melissa Cardinal. But once again, I believe that my kids, it's not a belief. I don't want to say they believe they can win. That's not it. It's no. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So our kids are just we had an unbelievable offseason, unbelievable summer. And I want to say, and I had some great speakers come in, but we've kind of resonated with Coach Dodge, came and talked to our team, and he said.
Todd or Riley?
Todd.
The dad.
Mm-hmm. And
former South Lake Carroll head coach, former UNT head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And he said something that just resonates is, when you're the number 1 team in the state and you're picked to win the state championship, that target is on your back. And he was like, no, that's not true. You're going to take that target off, and you're going to put it on every single one of your opponents. And I thought, man, that is just awesome. I thought that was such a great way to put it. Because
you do have the target as number 1 team.
Right. So, but our kids, I believe, kind of, I don't know what the word is, soak that in and believe it. Like, we don't have a target on back. You have the target on you. We're coming after you. So that's why I made that comment. I just like, hey, we know we're going to win. At the end of the day, Argyle is unbelievable, and they've got a great team, an extremely talented team. They bring back some kids that are their quarterback's extremely talented. They've got an inside backer who's extremely talented. They've got a really good team. They're going to push for the Region 1 championship again, and probably, have an opportunity to play for it in the 5th round again and see what happens. But, mad respect for Argyle. Mad respect.
Kickoff this Friday, 8 p.m. Again, special time, 8 p.m. this Friday. Melissa Cardinals hosting the Argyle Eagles in the 2023 season opener at the beautiful brand new Coach Kenny Deal Stadium. Last question for you, Matt Nally, for today's show. What is your ask for the fans and the parents this year?
Just to do what they've always done. I mean, I thought that our parents and fans have been amazing. I've always said it, like, I wish people would understand what goes behind the scenes too, because everyone can just see that. They just see what goes on a Friday night. And I mean, Miss Stoner was up there every single day in the morning with the freshmen, handing out, stuff for the freshmen. Miss Smith and Miss Hollenbeck and Miss Damel and just all these other parents doing the same thing for the JV and the varsity. And just all these things that go on behind the scenes that people don't know. So, I mean, for the fans and stuff, just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
You've been watching the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. We broadcast every Monday night at 5:30 p.m. at the Dugout here at the Z-Plex. Again, you're invited to join our church family at First Melissa Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. or 10:15 a.m. Go to firstmelissa.com to find out more. And don't miss this Friday, season opener, Coach Kenny Deal Stadium, 8 p.m. kickoff. Melissa Cardinals hosting the Argyle Eagles. We want to thank our special guest from earlier in the show, Coach Kenny Deal, the man himself. And Ross Graham and I look forward to bringing you the broadcast this Friday. For Coach Matt Nally, this is Trey Graham saying good night from the Z-Plex.